Welcome to episode 4 of the Animorphs Read-Along broadcast. Today we are talking about book number 4, The Message, and it is a Cassie book. This is actually the first Animorphs book that I ever read. I remember, I think my cousin bought it at a book fair. I borrowed it from her because I was like, ooh, a dolphin on the cover. And then I read it and I was like, what is going on? This is amazing. And my life was changed. So in this book, Cassie and Tobias are both having these recurring dreams, someone calling for help from the ocean. When a piece of Andalite ship washes up on shore, everyone is sort of alerted to the presence of this Andalite under the ocean, including the Yeerks. The gang morphs dolphin, and they actually get information from a whale who knows where the Andalite is and who communicates this to them. And then they go find the Andalite, rescue him, barely escape from a giant evil death sea creature, Visser 3, and basically rescue Axe, who is going to become the 6th Animorph. Every character in Animorphs has a very distinct role that they play within the group, and Cassie is absolutely the moral compass. She wants to make sure that they are making ethically sound decisions. All of the Animorphs are in this fight for different reasons, and I think one of the big themes of these early books is that each member is finding their reason. And for Cassie, those reasons are sort of altruistic. These are big moral issues for her. She thinks that this is wrong and she can't just stand by while people are being enslaved. She has to fight and stand up for freedom. So for her, it's extremely important that they, as the Animorphs, are also making morally upright choices. They have to be the good guys in order for her to be in this fight. So we see sort of the depth of Cassie's moral concerns when she worries that even morphing is sort of exploitative. Especially when they start to talk about morphing dolphins, this really intelligent creature. Cassie's like, we're creating this new animal, and then we're suppressing those animals' instincts and controlling this new body. And is that wrong? Is that similar to what the Yeerks do? I think as the reader, we're kind of like, no, it's totally not similar. But Cassie thinks about these things. She worries about them. This is also obviously a reflection of Cassie's deep respect for animals. Cassie is kind of like the tree-hugging hippie of the group. She loves Mother Earth. So for her, the idea of violating an animal it's a very serious crime. Axe tells them that the Yeerks don't just take over the living populations of a planet. They destroy the planet. They make that planet like the Yeerk homeworld, which will mean destroying animals, destroying oceans, kind of turning it into this barren wasteland. That, for Cassie especially, takes things to a whole new level. Now it's the fight for Mother Earth. It's the fight for every animal on this planet, even though she still feels a little bit weird about morphing into dolphin. Now that she realizes how high the stakes are, she can come to terms with that. Dolphins are definitely one of the best morphs that the Animorphs ever do. And there's this really palpable joy and freedom that comes with being a dolphin, and it's just really fun to read about. The encounter with the whales, they have this sort of otherworldly communication with the whales that defies description. Cassie's really the one who gets the bulk of it, possibly because of her deep connection with nature. But the whales end up being a huge source of help to them and saving their lives. The whales are the ones who direct them to Axe's location, and then the whales totally pound on Visser 3. One of the most memorable things in this book for me is when Marco almost dies from a shark attack. He is severely wounded, and this is, I think, one of the first times that anyone has been wounded this badly in Morph. It really shook everyone up, but especially Cassie, because she felt like this was her mission and she was the reason they were here, and that made her wildly uncomfortable. Cassie does not want to be a leader. There's a wonderful scene where Cassie goes to Marco's house the next day, and Marco's like, what are you doing here? And we get this really depressing glimpse into Marco's home life where his dad is just totally shut down. He's this zombie in front of the television, and it's heart-wrenching. But we can see Cassie, it's almost like she's looking for some sort of forgiveness for what happened to Marco, and he's like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. I almost died, but that's okay. And they have this really intense conversation about fear. Marco says, I'm scared all the time now, Cassie. I'm scared to fight the Yeerks, and I'm scared of what will happen if I don't. I look at Tobias, and what happened to him scares me to death. What if I get stuck in Morph someday? And most of all, I'm scared of him, referring to Visser 3. We can sort of see that fear and paranoia and all these really heavy adult emotions are starting to take over these kids' lives. Romantic relationships are definitely not at the forefront of the Animorph book, but I do think that they cultivate romantic relationships really successfully without having it become about the romance. We definitely get the impression by this book that Jake and Cassie have some kind of thing going on. What they're doing right now is more than just a crush. They confide in each other and rely on each other. You can see the beginnings of a really deep and powerful relationship between Jake and Cassie. So those are all my thoughts about book 4, The Message. Leave a comment or make a video telling me what you thought about the book. If you want to keep up with this read along, subscribe to this channel or follow me on Twitter. The next book is book number 5, The Predator. It is a Marco point of view book. Legal ways to track it down are in the description. I will see you on Thursday.